Every mobile phone knows how to send a text message. We can leverage that ability in our app by using the SMS plugin. In the last section, we created a menu item to send a message to a student's parent, but all it did was show a pop-up saying the message was sent. Now we can complete that functionality by wiring that up to the plugin now. First, let's not forget to install the plugin. The plugin we'll use is Cordova-SMS-plugin. Next, we'll update the roster controller to let the user enter a message to be sent. We'll repurpose the Ionic pop-up and just change the show function to prompt like so. After the pop-up is dismissed, we'll call the Cordova SMS send function, which takes two parameters: the phone number we're sending to and the message we're sending. This function also returns a promise, and at that point we'll simply log that we sent the message. We'll also need to inject the Cordova SMS service into our controller. Now let's build and run it in the iOS simulator. One thing you'll notice right away, the iOS simulator cannot send texts, and informs us of that fact when you try. Unfortunately, Ionic View can't send texts either. To test this function, we need to do something we've managed to avoid until now. We have to install the app on a real device. This has always been a pretty simple task on Android, but until very recently, nearly impossible on an iPhone without a developer's account. Beginning with Xcode 7, Apple has made it possible to install an iOS app directly onto a connected device. There are still some hoops you need to jump through, and they are beyond the scope of this course. Fortunately, the Ionic team has published a blog entry describing everything you need to do. Once you've done this, you can continue with the rest of the video. To see the plugin work on Android, the command you'll want to use is Cordova run Android. We can pass the run Android command to our gulp command using the --Cordova parameter. You'll see that I'm still setting the environment to iOS-sim. As it turns out, the Androids had the same pathing problem that we had way back when. It's easier to use the same environment configuration file. To run it on the iPhone, we'll need to do something slightly different. The command is gulp --Cordova prepare iOS, again passing the environment configuration. Prepare iOS does the same thing as gulp build, but it also for us generates the Xcode project that we'll need to open. When that command completes, there will be an Xcode project in platforms/iOS. To launch the app on a connected iPhone, you'll need to open that project and click the Run button. To send a text, we'll need to make sure that at least one of our students has a valid phone number and not the default test data we started with. I'll do that now with one of my students while you do the same for one of yours. Let's send a hello message to the parent and see what happens. We're going to see a little quirk in the way iOS apps behave compared to Android apps. Apple won't allow an app to send a text message without displaying the native SMS composer. This ensures that a rogue app can't send text without the user's knowledge and consent. Let's send a hello message to the parent and see what happens. In my case, I decided to send the message to myself so that we should see the result almost immediately. And that's how easy it is to send a text.